If they made a series of Law and Order, yeah, I'd draw one, sure. It's funny, I did that piece in 2007, and it has a lot of hits on DeviantArt. I'm surprised that sometimes you post something and you think, no one's gonna care, and then your hits go up. So yeah, I would definitely draw something like that. I think there are concerns that if we had that technology, people would start tweaking and create designer babies. Like right now, if we look at DNA, we can find if your child will have Down syndrome, and you can screen for that. So in a way, that will make sure that certain diseases are looked after very early on, which is good. The bad side is, I want a child with blue eyes, or I want him to be taller, because tall people are usually more successful, or whatever reasons. So it can get very silly. It's just like surgery saves lives. It also creates big breasts. So double-edged sword. But I imagine that will be, some form of that will be possible the better we get at reading DNA. To be honest, sometimes I put too many lines. I work so fast that you make 1,000 decisions, and some of them are going to be incorrect. So sometimes I put too many lines on the faces. I think it was just a way to create shade in a gray, then have the white going through. Actually, I think Lionel Yu has done it before. Bill Sienkiewicz has done it. I mean, I didn't invent that. Yeah, well, it's intentional, but sometimes I don't think about what it might mean. And when people think that every character is drunk, that's not good storytelling. So I have tried to be careful now. But thank you for noticing. Well, that same hat I used in American Vampire. I do have a habit of drawing similar faces a lot. Something that I definitely want to work on. A lot of my men end up looking the same with a lot of the lines, so I think it's just writing a book, drawing it, and you try to make sure you take care of everything, but sometimes you do get a bit repetitive and you don't realize it. So I also design a lot of characters with high collars. Hellblazer, Joe, I mean, I've noticed that I've done this many times, and I didn't even notice it until recently. Sometimes I'll design something that I think works very well, so I want to bring that into my next book. But you could say it's also a sign of laziness as well sometimes. So. Yeah, a lot of work. I don't know if I'll write again after this. Maybe I need to take a break for a while and just draw, but I don't know about a sequel. I don't know about writing for other artists yet. It's just, I'm still drawing issue 6. Excuse me. So I'm kind of in the middle of it, so it's hard to think clearly about it. Well, that's an idea that's been around for a bit. Like, I've seen other story ideas about cloning Jesus, but never one that had been done the way I thought it should be done. And as an atheist, I thought I had a more particular, I have a different viewpoint of it maybe than some other people. And I have the ability to draw the book myself and write it myself, and to get Vertigo to back me up. So I said, well, if anybody's going to do a story like this ever in comics, it has to be me right now. So I just decided to take the opportunity. And, yeah, and a lot of the stuff came, the IRA stuff was another story I'd been working on that I sort of folded into Punk Rock Jesus, which I think it helped because it created a dynamic between two very different types of stories. My goal was when people were reading it, they would think, like, what is this? There's so many different things in one book, but hopefully it works. It's just, I've never read anything like this. That was my attempt to get readers to feel that way. There was talk of color early on, and I didn't realize it would be black and white until issue 3 or 4. So at first I was disappointed, but because of the reception now, I realized it was probably for the best. So. Yeah, it's a 12-issue series. It's a little bit like American Vampire in that it's about monsters and how they've affected human history, just like American Vampire. But this one has to do with the oceans and seas, which I love. I think the first, out of the 12, the first 4 issues will be about maybe like Aliens, the movie where there's a problem underwater. They send in the team, they discover this thing, and as the series goes forward, it starts describing what that thing is and what it's done. That's probably the most I can talk about it. Yes, it'll be a Vertigo book. I'm assuming it will be colored. I'm guessing the first issue will be out around San Diego. That's how they usually time these things. But yeah, but we'll see. I'm not really sure exactly. If I have an idea specifically about color, I'll give him my ideas, but he's his own artist, Dave Stewart. Dave is very good at what he does, and mostly I trust his decision. If I say I prefer blue, and he says, I think red would work better, I say, make it red. I'm not going to step on his toes, so to speak. Cool. So that's pretty much it. Even when he does something that I'm not quite sure of, after a while I start to see why it makes more sense. And that's his job. He's much better at it than I am, so I have to trust him. Just like I tell a writer, this works better visually, and I change it, he should accept it. Just like I accept the letterer who tells me that the balloons. You just have to rely on the next person in line. Hopefully they know what they're doing. Yeah, right. Well, the trick is to make sure you're surrounded by people that you can trust. If you're not getting along with a writer, or if you don't think a colorist is helping you, you should probably find someone else to work with. Totally.